Chapter 10. Developing your financial IQ. Some practical applications. This book has been about developing your financial intelligences and raising your financial IQ. As I wrote earlier, you need to have the integrity of all 5 financial intelligences to become rich and successful. I know this is easier said than done. Developing your 5 intelligences is a lifelong process, one that cannot be accomplished in a day or even a year. I am continually working on developing my intelligences, and I encourage you to do so as well. This chapter provides some practical ways to hone your financial IQ. Many financial advisors recommend investing for the long term. Most of them really mean for you to turn your money over to them so they can collect commissions for the long term. The problem with this advice is that you do not learn much, if anything at all. At the end of the long term, you are not necessarily financially smarter, and you have not developed your financial IQ. On top of that, most long-term investors invest in high-risk investments that offer low returns and very little control. Instead of blindly following your financial advisor's advice, you may want to consider investing in long-term transitional environments that strengthen all 3 brains and provide opportunities to strengthen your financial IQ. You should look for transitional environments that will develop all 3 of your brains and your genius in a practical way. Some examples of transitional environments are: 1. School. School is a transitional environment for most people. Taking classes is a great way to improve left and right brain functions. The problem with traditional schools is that they are not environments for developing the subconscious brain, the most powerful of the 3 brains. Most traditional schools magnify the mirror neurons of the fear of failing and the fear of making mistakes. 2. Church. I have noticed that there are 2 kinds of churches: churches that teach the love of God and churches that teach the fear of God. I do not know how effective fearing God can be, yet I think church is a great place to find spiritual strength, which strengthens the subconscious brain. Hopefully, with greater spiritual strength, a person will be better able to be more ethical, moral, and generous. 3. The military. The Marine Corps was a great environment for me to develop all 3 brains. Being a pilot required all 3 brains and all 7 intelligences, even musical intelligence. Often, we played rock and roll music to boost our courage as we flew into combat. Today, I believe I am a better entrepreneur, especially when losing money, because I learned to improve my intrapersonal intelligence and keep my fears under control. 4. Network marketing. Most network marketing companies are incredible learning environments because they offer training, support, business structure, and products, so you can focus on developing your sales skills and building your business. I recommend that anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur join a network marketing company for some of the best real-world, street-smart business training. These companies focus on developing all 3 brains, and especially strengthening the subconscious brain. Network marketing training programs are great for developing your interpersonal intelligence and your intrapersonal intelligence. Developing those 2 intelligences will change your life and increase your standard of living because they teach you to overcome the fear of other people and the fear of failing. The best thing about learning in the network marketing environment is that it is a supportive environment, not a fear-driven one as are schools and businesses. Instead of flunking you or firing you for below-average performance, most network marketing businesses will work to strengthen you for as long as you are willing to learn and grow. I know a number of people who spent 5 years with a network marketing business before finally breaking through their doubts and fears. Once they did that, the money poured in. 5. Business. There are basically 2 kinds of businesses. Big and small. Big business can be a great place to develop all 3 brains, especially your subconscious brain. The pressure my friends in these big corporations handle is enormous. How they do it, I do not know. The mind games and back-office politics offer great opportunities to train your interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligences. For people who want to be entrepreneurs, taking a job with a small company can be a great learning environment. One advantage a small company has over a big company is that you can learn about all the different aspects of business. In my book Before You Quit Your Job, I describe the 8 essential parts to a business. By working in a small business, you have a better opportunity to learn all 8 and gain essential business experience. 6. Seminars. Traditional schools are important for people who want to become licensed professionals such as doctors, lawyers, and architects. They are also important for people who want to climb the corporate or government ladders where degrees from traditional accredited schools are required for promotions. Seminars, however, are great for people who want to be entrepreneurs or investors. Today there are seminars and conventions for every subject on earth. All you have to do is find the one that piques your interest. The Rich Dad Company has excellent seminars for people who want to become real estate professionals or learn to trade stocks. I am very proud of these programs because they are taught by instructors who practice what they teach. The more advanced courses are hands-on and learning is step by step. For example, you will go into neighborhoods and make real offers with real money. If you are in the land development course, you will work on actual land development projects. Most importantly, our courses are designed to educate and strengthen all three brains and have them work in unison. By focusing all three brains, your profits and chances of success improve. If you would like more information on our programs, simply go to richdad.com and take a few minutes to find what you need. 7. Coaching. Donald Trump and I were fortunate to have rich dads who were our coaches. For anyone who has ever played a team sport, you know how important a coach can be for a team's success. The Rich Dad Company also has a coaching division. It is staffed by professional coaches, who are not only great coaches but also practice what they coach. Rich Dad Coaching is for people who want one-on-one attention. If you would like more information on our coaching program, please go to richdad.com. As with all Rich Dad programs, a strong emphasis is put on educating all three brains. Now, if you are saying to yourself, how can I afford a coach? I don't have any money, or, why do I need a coach? I'm perfect already. Think about this. When someone says, I can't afford it, or, I don't need help, when he or she really does, it is the subconscious mind talking. This is exactly why the person needs a coach. A coach is essential for anyone who is ready to transition from point A to point B, from one environment to the next. If not for my rich dads coaching me for nearly 30 years, I would not be where I am today. Even today, I continue to have a number of coaches because I still have a subconscious mind that is not totally in alignment with my spirit. 8. Cash flow clubs. Today, there are thousands of cash flow clubs all over the world. These club leaders are volunteers who love creating a rich dad learning environment. Some clubs offer my official Rich Dad 10-step curriculum for those who want to increase their financial intelligence. Many clubs operate for free, a few charge a nominal fee to cover expenses. For more information, go to richdad.com and look for a cash flow club near you. Joining a club is a great way to meet like-minded people and activate the mirror neurons in your brain. You may also want to start your own cash flow club in your neighborhood, business, or church. 9. A download for you. On September 6, 2007, I did a video interview with Dr. Michael Carlton, MD, an expert on the brain and addictions. The title of the talk was, Can People Be Addicted to Being Poor? It was one of the best interviews I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of. In his talk, Dr. Carlton went into greater detail on how the brain works, and why some people are rich and some are poor. It is a matter of addictions. You may have your own copy of his talk by going to richdad.com and downloading it. I believe you will find his talk funny and extremely informative. This is our way of saying thank you to you for reading this book. These are examples of possible transitional environments. For me, the Marine Corps, Xerox, my own businesses, and real estate investing were where I learned to develop my genius. If you want to develop your genius, what environment is best for you? What does it take to be an entrepreneur? Most of us know that entrepreneurs are the richest people on earth. Some of the more famous entrepreneurs today are Richard Branson, Donald Trump, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Jobs, and Rupert Murdoch. There is an ongoing debate that asks, are entrepreneurs born or can entrepreneurs be developed? The question is raised because some people think it takes a special person or a certain magic to be an entrepreneur. To me, being an entrepreneur is not that big a deal. For example, there is a junior high school girl in my neighborhood who has a thriving babysitting business and hires classmates to work for her. She is an entrepreneur. Another young boy has a handyman business after school. He is an entrepreneur. What most kids have is no fear. For most adults, that's all they have. 2 characteristics of entrepreneurs. Today, there are millions of people who dream of quitting their job and become entrepreneurs, running their own business. The problem is, for most people, their dream is just a dream. It never becomes a reality. So the question is, why do so many fail to go for their dream of becoming an entrepreneur? The best answer to this age-old question comes from a friend of mine. He says, entrepreneurs have 2 characteristics. Ignorance and courage. This simple assessment is profound. It explains so much more than just entrepreneurship. It explains why some people are rich and why most are not. For example, one of the reasons so many students are not rich is because they may be smart but they lack courage. There are many people who lack both knowledge and courage. A tale of two hairstylists. I have a friend who is a brilliant hairstylist. When it comes to making women look beautiful, he is a magician. For years, he's talked about opening his own salon. He has big plans, but sadly, he still remains small, running a single chair in a large salon, constantly at odds with the owner. Another friend has a wife who became tired of being a flight attendant. 2 years ago she quit her job and went to school to become a hairstylist. A month ago, she had a grand opening for her salon. It is a spectacular environment and she has attracted some of the best hairstylists to work there. When my older friend heard about her salon, he said, "How can she open a salon? She has no talent. She is not gifted. She wasn't trained in New York like I was. And besides, she doesn't have any experience. I give her a year and she's going to fail. She might fail. Statistics show that 90% of all businesses fail in the first 5 years. But the point of the story is the impact of ignorance and courage upon our lives. In this example, we have one hairstylist who is gifted but who lacks courage, and another hairstylist who lacks experience but has courage. In my opinion, it is this relationship between ignorance and courage that is the essence of life itself. In 1974, I didn't have a job, money, or much business experience. I couldn't live below my means because I didn't have any means to live below. I couldn't diversify because I had nothing to diversify. All I had was courage. In the real world, courage is more important than good grades. It takes courage to discover, develop, and donate your genius to the world. Always remember that your mind is infinite and your doubts are limiting. Ayn Rand, the author of Atlas Shrugged, said, "Wealth is the product of man's capacity to think." So if you are ready to change your life, find the environment that will allow all three of your brains to think and grow richer. And who knows, you might find your genius. Your feedback loop. No man is an island. We live in a world of feedback. When we climb on a bathroom scale, our weight is giving us feedback. If the scale says we are 10 pounds heavier, we may not like the feedback, especially if we are already 20 pounds overweight. When your doctor takes your blood pressure and sends your blood sample to a lab, your doctor is looking for feedback. Feedback is important. It can be a very important source of information about us and our environment. The problem is, if we do not like the feedback, our subconscious minds may block out, distort, diminish, or deny the importance of the information coming from feedback. One of the most enlightening lessons I learned from the Marine Corps was the importance of feedback. When I was messing up, the feedback was pretty intense and definitely not sugar-coated. When I worked with my rich dad, there was the same intensity of feedback. In doing our book together, I received very fast and blunt feedback from Donald Trump. If not for my military training, or working with my rich dad, I know I never could have worked with Donald. His feedback was quick, to the point, and direct. I know that if I had argued back, disagreed, or not listened to Donald's feedback, I would not be working with him, nor would I have learned as much. I mention this because today many of us work in environments where feedback is not allowed, not forthright, and not honest. Many schools and businesses are afraid to tell you what you need to hear for fear of being sued. Many friends and coworkers will speak behind your back because they lack the courage to speak to your face. This is not a healthy environment. It is a dysfunctional environment. A healthy environment is one that offers feedback. Life is constantly giving you priceless information if you are willing to receive it, and most of the time the feedback is free. Every time you open your pay envelope and see how much is lost to taxes, this is feedback. If your creditors are calling, demanding payment, this is feedback. If you are working harder and not earning enough, this is feedback. If you are spending more time at work and less time at home, this is feedback. If your kids are on drugs and being chased by the law, this is feedback. If your friends are all losers and like being losers, this is feedback. It is great information. The real world is trying to tell you something. Your standard of living is a great source of feedback. If you are living in a home that makes you feel poor, that is feedback. If you are driving a cheap car when you would rather be driving a Lamborghini, that is feedback. Standard of living is simply the standard you feel most at home with. It does not mean being comfortable, cheap, or compromising. Standard of living means you are in love with and proud of your home, friends, and possessions rather than envying someone else's standard of living. Again, this does not mean improving your standard by getting into debt. I'm talking about improving your standard of living by first finding a great environment to learn, getting smarter, and then growing richer. You do not need to go to a great school, have a great job, or read great books to receive some of the best information in the world. All you have to do is look at the world around you and listen to the feedback. There are 3 important things to know about feedback. 1. Have the courage to be open to feedback. If you want to improve, seek more feedback. This is why coaches and mentors are important to successful people. Successful people seek more feedback. 2. Offer feedback or advice only if it's asked for. Nothing infuriates people more than feedback they did not ask for. Even if it's feedback they know they need. As that ancient bit of wisdom goes, don't teach pigs to sing. It wastes your time and it annoys the pig. 3. Con men will tell you what you want to hear rather than tell you what you need to hear. Con men prey on the mentally uninformed and emotionally weak. They will tune into where you are weak, and then they will craft a marketing message that matches that weakness. In the world of money, con men have gotten the masses to believe that diversification and living below your means is smart, even though the smartest investors such as Warren Buffett do not diversify and do not recommend living below your means. Buffett lives at his standard of living, which is very different than Donald Trump's standard of living. Warren Buffett lives in Omaha, Nebraska, and Donald Trump lives in New York City. The point is, both men have the means to live anywhere in the world and at any standard of living they want to live at. They are happy where they are. More important questions are: are you living where you want to live and at the standard of living you want to live at? Are you diversifying and living below your means so that con men can live above their means? Are you associating with friends and people you want to be associated with? If you want to become healthier, smarter, richer, and happier, pay closer attention to your own feedback. It is offering you the most important information in the world. Regardless of whether you like your feedback or not, if you have the courage to listen to it and learn from it, you will succeed. Thank you for reading this book.